All right, there you go. Believe it or not actually me typing. Hey, welcome guys. It is CyberBuzz Radio. You were just listening to Metals and Makers with Making Stuff, and I had to compose myself there again. Because, man, that's a powerful speech that he was just playing. So, for some of you, you're jumping into the stream, and you have no idea what was just playing. And for you, I'm glad you're here. That's fucking cool. Thanks for being here. But so if you didn't have, I'm going to hemorrhage you for a bit. Oh, okay, fair enough. Ron makes these jokes. Before we talk a little bit about that speech, Ron makes these jokes because I always say, oh my gosh, when I do something dumb, I'm always like, oh, I'm hemorrhaging listeners. And he forgets that I'm not just looking at the Discord. I'm also looking at the numbers for Vim, for YouTube, for Twitch, for Trovo. And sometimes when I do or say something stupid, just poof, the numbers just tank. So it's all good. But hey, so yes, if you are not just listening, this is something that we are going to touch on a little bit today. And one thing that I am going to quickly do is I'm going to press the go button over on Vim TV because we love Vim TV and we would like to see more people interacting through there. But of course, one of the things that I thought we would talk about today, because obviously for many of us, I'm hemorrhaging salty water from my eyes. For many of us, Bitcoin is a really important part of our lives. And maybe you are really involved with crypto, and maybe you are, you've moved on and you're not only a Bitcoiner, maybe whatever. The Miami conference that just happened. We talked about it a little bit last week, and we talked a little bit about how Laura Loomer, got up and yelled at Jack, and we talked about that last week. But I would love to kind of just touch on the video or the interview that Making Stuff just kind of put out to just listen to and think about. And it was Jack Mallers talking about how he has brought see? Oh my God, it makes me wavery. There's so many great ideas here. You know, Bitcoin for a lot of people is still a scary thing. It's what criminals use. It's bad. It's horrible. It's only rich tech bros. But it has the power to change the world. It's pretty fucking cool. So, lest I continue fucking sobbing my face off, you guys know that you can go out there, you can look up what's happening in El Salvador. It is a place with a lot of potential and a lot of misery and a lot of human suffering. And financial freedom would go a long way there. So, you know, check it out. But it's totally worth it. So, before you buy humans with Bitcoin, perfect. That's definitely not a criminal activity. All right, so listen, am I saying El Salvador is full of criminals? Are you talking to me? No. But yeah, so listen. I would highly recommend you check that out. Because when people want to talk about cryptocurrency as something dangerous and putting power in the hands of people who shouldn't have it or whatever, there are so many arguments around Bitcoin. And there will always be so many arguments around things that are scary and new. And there are shitty people in the crypto space. There's no doubt that there are shitty people in the crypto space. But everything this new and powerful and, you know, unexplored has amazing potential as well. And I think the more that people who have good hearts get involved in this space, the better off the planet will be for it. So, you know, a little fucking there. All right, so listen, now that it's CyberBuzz Radio, we've got some things to touch on today. Number one, I literally just got... Am I talking about Swoop again? No, absolutely not. So one of the things is I literally just got a slew of DMs that are popping up here. Thank you, friends, as per use. Hey, Kriodos! Hey, man! So all the Vim kids are kicking up. Hey, how's it going? I got a slew of DMs. Yes, my hair is gone. Let's get this out of the... Let's get this out of the way early. Yes, my hair is gone. That's all that I have left. You are correct. It has been cut off. I do still have my power. I am fine. You will also be fine. You will adapt. I promise. I promise everything will be great. Yeah, exactly, kitty girl. Exactly. We could talk a little bit more about that today because everything new, everything disruptive, everything that is so terrifyingly powerful. It's so easy to say, oh, no, it's just a fad. Oh, I see not the video where you bald. No, I'm not. So, yeah, long story short is I usually let my hair get about 3 feet long or thereabouts. And as soon as it gets long enough for me to sit on, I don't know what to call it. I mean, it's kind of altruistic, but it's not really. But I practice... I don't know, not even selflessness. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like a self-flagellation in that a good reminder that I have it really good and that other people don't. I cut off all my hair. So it's, I cut off about a foot and a bit, and I donate it to a local, there's a local hair salon. They make wigs for people with cancer. And so, yeah, there it is. We'll just leave it at that. My hair is gone. I promise it will grow back. That is what I tell myself also. And it will. It'll be back. And then I'll cut it off again. All right. So today we got lots of things we could talk about. I'm in a very positive mood today. Yeah. Practices of self-flagellation. I mean, perhaps this is something to kind of do with, the fact that we are in crypto. We talk a lot about, seeking to kind of better understand ourselves and our own needs. Where do we make sacrifices? Where are the things that really matter at the heart of it? I'd like to say that that's a crypto thing, but not really. But the crypto space forces you to kind of reflect on, what you want to do and what you're willing to do to achieve it. And so, well, there are a lot of stoics in the crypto space. There's a lot of stoics. Oh, don't ping anybody. Most people don't like my show. But those of you who are here, we're gonna have fun today. And I will say, Viking Adventure, when you're ready to cut your hair, and for anybody in Canada, they probably take mail from out of Canada as well. The salon is called 360 Hair, and it's in Langley, BC. And they are located, and they work with a network of the hospitals here in BC. So, Children's Women and Children's Hospital, and some of the other hospitals. We have some major hospitals here for Vancouver, for the West Coast, and they do all the work pro bono. So it's super cool. You give them your hair for free, and they do all of the work for free. And they actually go to Children's Hospital and they talk to kids with cancer, and they ask them what kind of hair they want. It sounds ridiculous, but like what kind of length and what kind of cut, and they go out of their way to basically create a match for that. So you know what? I can suck it up and cut off my stupid hair because I have it pretty good. That's where I'm going with this. That's my gentle reminder to myself, and that's why I continue to do this every couple of years. Is it's a reminder that, you know what? Suck it up, bitch. Your hair grows back. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So it's gone. It'll come back. I'm still very vain, incredibly vain, and I would not cut it past my armpits. You know, like I could have donated way more hair to kids, but I am vain. So don't cheer me too much. All right. So it's CyberBuzz today, and we got a lot of topics that we could talk about. And on Saturdays here, we listen to fun music and we talk about disruptive technology. We often talk about things going on around the Hive blockchain or around the crypto space in general. We talk about, cool disruptive technology and sort of that cyberpunk retro future aesthetic. It's a good show. We do a little bit of everything, and sometimes it's better than others. So today I did a little bit of prep, and I thought there were some certain things that we could talk about, and then I thought we'd leave it open. But I am in a very kind of giddy, happy mood. I guess we'll just kind of get all of the caveats out of the way. Very celebratory mood today. Don't leave Neil alone. If people don't want to come to my show, that's fine. Whatever. We'll make fun of them behind their backs, and they'll never know. The cool kids that are here can make fun of the people that listen to it later. But yeah, so some of you guys, we'll just get all this shit out of the way. So some of you guys know, some of you don't. I mean, I haven't been super open about it because it's just been, and on Thursday night I talked about this where I'm tired. It has been such a year, and I know so many of you are feeling like this as well. Crypto is this insane roller coaster, and inside crypto you have, Quaz here. He's been on Clubhouse because he doesn't love us anymore, and he doesn't love me, and he's never talked to me, and he doesn't want to be in any of my shows, and that's fine. That's fine. But Clubhouse is nowhere near as good as MSP Waves, so just throwing it out there. But so yeah, this year has sucked, and a lot of you have hit the wall, and crypto's been wild, and if this is your second bull bear fucking tussle, then you're probably holding up better than others. But at the same time, even around Hive, just the creation of Hive and this whole last year, there's just been so much going on. And then all of us have been dealing with our personal stuff too. And I know many of you guys have had things going on with your personal health, your personal finances, your families, your loved ones. It's just been, the universe has been fucking around a whole lot and not finding out. Nobody's had the universe find out yet. But so for me, for this last year, there's been a lot going on. But the big one was that my father was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and we, from the start of the year till recently, have been going through aggressive chemo, and there was a surgery in there. There was a lot going on, and yesterday night, late, we got the results from his PET scan that he is in remission. So maybe I'm just in a really sensitive mood today. Maybe this is just everything makes Crim cry today. But it's like this little bright spot of news, And you get that one little bright spot of news, and then something else really positive happens. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open. So maybe we could all be very celebratory today. Yeah, it is awesome news. It's fucking awesome, man. It's great. So there's just so much that's been going on, and it's like every week we got to get out here, we got to chat, we got to talk, because I know Alpha Chino has been going through some incredible, stuff in her life, and all of you guys have this going on. So it's not any one of us. And I know that this last year, with all of the lockdowns and all of the pandemic, and like Big Tom, my heart goes out to you. It's tough. This last year has made all of these things that are really hard even harder. So if any of you guys for the last week have been to the point of like, universe, I'm done, cut it out, I'm just gonna lay on the floor and sleep for a while, totally understand. Oh, that is definitely not something I'm going to do, Swoop. And actually, next week he's going back to work, so there you go. Nothing like jumping straight back into the into the capitalist. What do we want to call it? The treadmill of misery. But yeah, so all good in the hood. Today I'm a little fragmented. I'm a little all over the place. It's excellent news, and let's just let's continue moving forward with that. So I'm in a positive mood today. And there are a lot of cool things that I thought we would talk about, both, beyond Hive and in Hive. And of course, as per usual, if you guys have topics that you want to come up with, that you want to talk about, we could do that too. I want to play some fun music and just kind of have a chill day, because I feel like all of us, the machine, exactly. The machine's just going to chew them up and spit them out. But whatever. The machine won't chew on any cancer, so that's good. He's a beast. So that's cool. We'll have to continuously monitor. That's the thing about like stage 3 and stage 4, is that the chances of it coming back are super high, but that's fine. Whatever. Who cares? Let it try and come back. I mean, we're out of the woods already, so that's just it. It's monitoring now. And whatever. Don't take anything for granted, etc., etc. You've heard it all. So now, coming back to the Bitcoin thing and actually starting the show, now that we got all the caveats and community news and, Crim sobs her fucking face out of the way, now we can proceed. Oh, lordy. So lots of things happen around Hive, but I thought one of the fun things that we could talk about a little bit, since we are talking a little bit about, the positives and the negatives, the inspirations and the cringes from the Bitcoin conference. I'm definitely not going to do that. Swoop, I love you very much, but there's just no way. It's not going to happen. I'm not, we've had this discussion where a lot of people in my family or my close loved ones are like, the people who are very important to me are incredibly uncomfortable with the fact that so much of my life is public, and they see some of the stuff and like things that happen and interactions, and they're like, absolutely not, never mention me, never discuss me, I don't exist, you and the internet have a good time. So I hate to say it. Okay. So yes, cringes and inspirations. Obviously making stuff, highlighting probably the most incredible and thought-provoking thing out of the Bitcoin Miami conference. And then last week we were talking a little bit about some of the cringy stuff, and there's a lot this week. That's really interesting, because people have really latched onto this. And often on this show we discuss sort of some of the ways that, not family friendly, I agree. We've discussed some of the ways that we've seen people, whether it's against Hive, whether it's against Bitcoin, whether it's against even just decentralized technology, how we talk about this, whether it's in the media, whether it's, parroting talking points. This week, it's all Bitcoiners are super spreaders. Bitcoiners don't give a shit. They're still really harping on the environment thing. But now it really is a big one. And maybe there's some truth to it, is ransomware, cyber attacks, etc. are the driving cause of ransomware and cyber attacks is Bitcoin. And this something that I thought you guys might have an interesting opinion on. So we could talk a little bit about this if you wanted. So one of the things is we're on the NFT showroom team, and Julia and many of you guys, Swoop, and people that watch this show are very involved in the crypto art space. And one of the things that has been happening this week, and it is out of control, and I thought we'd touch on it because we don't always talk about it because we always forget. We say, hey, never share your keys. Just don't share your keys. You'll be fine. Personal responsibility. That's one of the greatest things about crypto is no one can do things on your behalf. And we know also that, these powerful sort of... what is going on back there? That we know that these powerful sort of top tier cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, ETH, all Hive, they're not really hackable, but hack gets thrown around a lot. And so over the last week, there's been a couple different things. There was the discussion of the pipeline hack, I think it is. Which one? I don't even know anymore. It was either the medical hack or the pipeline hack. They got all the crypto back, which infers that a wallet was hacked and, they stole the money back from the thieves. Haha. But that's really not what was happened. And in a lot of cases, what we are talking about, hey, gins. I don't know what language that is, but I love the word troob. So yeah, troob to you too. But here's the deal. We're seeing a lot of this, and what we're actually talking about is not hacking at all. It's social engineering. And social engineering is something that we don't think about a whole lot. Social engineering is probably, for any of you who are watching now or are watching in the future, who are thinking about getting involved with crypto or even decentralized tech or even just using technology in a way that intertwines with your life on a level that it if somebody had access to this information, that it could be problematic for you. Social engineering is a real problem. And we don't always think about it as social engineering. And in general, here you go, how a new team of feds hacked the hackers. And that sounds really cool. And it sounds really, kind of romantic and whatever. But that's not what's happening. And the problem with that becomes... that we stop thinking about the dangers of social engineering because we think of it as a hack. Now, where is that line delineated, and what do I mean by social engineering? And so this is something, yes, okay, cool, this is interesting, and I'm actually going to talk with VA about this because he's saying we have a class at work about social engineering. So social engineering is different than hacking. Yes, exactly, Creo, my man. You're exactly right. And part of it is we are conditioned as humans to kind of, make ourselves look a little smarter than we are. And so it's much easier to say, I got hacked than I got fucking tricked. We don't like to say, oh, Creo. I love that GIF, Inertia. We don't like to say, I was stupid and I got taken advantage of. And sometimes you're not even stupid. Sometimes social engineering is so sophisticated that you have to learn an expensive lesson. But in the case of crypto especially, and in the case of these disruptive technologies, when we call something hacking, what we're doing is we're driving people's fear up. People who are scared rely on authority, rely on someone else. People who are scared don't always make good choices. And the problem with a lot of people who are scared is they don't learn from the experience. You're so busy being scared that you are constantly looking for someone else to help you. And obviously, this particular show is to try and help you. You could still be scared, but it's to try and help you understand a little bit more of your options, whether it's with your technology, with your crypto, with whatever, being a little more responsible, being more empowered in this space. So, hacking. Does hacking happen a lot to crypto wallets? Does hacking happen a lot where somebody very specifically either breaks your password or writes a piece of code that gets through your firewall and all this stuff, like hacking as malicious code that is an attack on you? very rarely actually happens. And what we see more often is social engineering. So social engineering is a little bit different. Social engineering is kind of like hacking a person. And so for many of you guys who may know this, and Julia actually dropped a really useful tweet into chat. And Julia, she's been doing a lot of work to share this stuff. Swoop has. Anybody in the art community, this is a really relevant topic right now. Social engineering is hacking a person. And by that, I mean not that you're going to open them up and reprogram them from the inside, but maybe a little bit. You're going to talk to someone. You're going to interact with someone in a way that they give you the information they want. Now, let's talk. Yes, and that's a great point too. Creo's saying, yeah, hacking can be very expensive. Think about this for a second. But social engineering, you got to read, you got to practice. There's really no downside to trying. And if you are very good at it, the wins can be huge. So let's talk a little bit about social engineering, especially in the crypto space, because this is the perfect example. And for many of you who are moving around in Ethereum and Bitcoin and here on Hive, and maybe you're buying NFTs or whatever the case may be, this is a big one. And people are always scared about things like, say, MetaMask and whatnot. Oh, is it safe? I don't know if it's safe. Well, we'll probably have to do a whole show on this someday, but MetaMask inherently isn't unsafe. The problem is if you grant someone access to your MetaMask, everything in it, and MetaMask is a browser extension wallet for Ethereum and Ethereum-based tokens and that kind of thing. But here's, yeah, exactly. There you go, Swoop. Very unhelpful, but exactly on topic. So social engineering is being manipulated into giving up personal information. And in the crypto space, it's giving up your keys. That's very different. It's very different than somebody actually hacking or guessing your keys. It doesn't feel the same when it happens to you, but it's really important to delineate, because then you'll understand how to protect yourself. So this one scheme that's happening in the crypto art space is really, really important, because it could actually kind of represent a huge hole in your personal knowledge or your personal security across everything, not just crypto. So what is happening right now is a DM goes out, somebody slides on into your DMs and they flatter you. They flatter you a little bit. Oh, I love what you're doing. I saw your cool game tokens. I saw your NFT art. Here's, I want to hire you. I love what you're doing. I want to hire you. So, hey, in the case of artists, something like a commission. I love your art. It's so fabulous. I want to pay you to make me some art. I want to pay you to make me a render. I want to pay you to do, Creo, get out of here. Hey, Crim, I love what you're doing. And in fact, Crimsonclad, can you record a short video for my business? And I go, oh, absolutely. I would love to do that. Yes, I'll happily work with you. Let's talk about getting paid. Let's talk about what you guys want to make. And the person who's trying to scam me, the person who's trying to social engineer me goes, well, here you go. You see, I would like you to record a video on knitted tea cozies. And I go, okay, all right, what kind of topics? What kind of style? What do you want to do? And what's happening in this case is the person who is trying to scam you says, oh, well, I have an example. You just download it, open it up, look at it, and it will answer all your questions. It's an example, a perfect example of art or video or whatever. And here's the thing. This is what we need to take away from this. They didn't hack your computer and put a bad or malicious file on it. They didn't get into your computer unattended and put malware on it. They are tricking you into saying, hey, nice thing, let me take it. It is shockingly easy to do. All we need is a little bit of flattery, the right story, and a lot of us will just eat that shit up. So the reason that I bring this up is for a lot of you guys, you're going to hear, oh, I was hacked. This was hacked, that was hacked. And almost always, 99% of the time, you weren't actually hacked. You were socially engineered. And if we talk about it that way, you're going to think in the back of your head, hey, I have to protect myself. Oh, do you want to show me an example of whatever for, so we can collaborate together. Cool. Let's hop on a video call. Maybe you could share your screen with me. Oh, yeah, you know what? Why don't you upload it to a website or whatever? Because in this case, what's happening is people are downloading files onto their computer. And they're not just downloading a file onto their computer. They're downloading a file from, say, Google Drive or whatever, and it's zipped. And so what you're not paying attention to is what's inside that folder. And in this case, the extension that they are using, thank you, John, the extension that they're using is an SCR, which most of us don't really know. Hasn't come up in our day-to-day experience. And so in this case, they'll say, hey, yeah, no problem. Just click on it, play it. You'll see the examples of the art I want you to make. And you look at it and your Windows PC or whatever, but I think it's probably Windows that's the target, says, oh, it's a screensaver file. Yeah, okay. Well, there's a lot of red flags here. And we don't have to go over this because you guys are smart and we're not in this situation. So we can think about it critically. But what the main takeaway that we're talking about today here is social engineering relies on you taking an action to compromise yourself. And that's the part we don't think about. Hacking is an action that happens to me. I was passively not involved and I got hacked. Social engineering isn't like that. Social engineering requires you to be a part of the process. And in crypto and in basically most technologies, this is so important to remember. In general, don't download files. And especially if you are downloading a file, check the file extension. If it is anything other than something that you recognize as a standard file, like a JPEG or a PNG, but if you start seeing something that could potentially, you need to run it like a program, for the love of God, don't do it. But in general, just don't download files from anyone who might send them to you. Does that sound ridiculous? Yes, but has there really ever been a situation where somebody random that you don't know, that you don't have contact with, needs to send you a file? And when you start thinking about it, you realize, no, not really. Either I work with them, we become friends, we talk for a while, whatever. So all I'm saying is, especially in the crypto space, we are going to see so many iterations around this. And we see it with phishing bots. We see it with DM spam. We see it always. These scammers are trying to get something out of you. They cannot hack you without your help. The odds of you actually being hacked, being cracked, being brute forced or tunneled into or whatever are so low. So low. And in many cases, you're not valuable enough to have that. Hey, Anjar, you're not valuable enough for someone to go after. When we think about true hacking, where is a really big payoff? A giant database full of information, a big company with millions of dollars. There's so many more attractive. Yeah, exactly, Big Tom. How do you get your money from the Nigerian prince? Right. But, so just keep this in mind, that the words that we use are important. The words that we use have power. And hacking makes us forget that more often than not, we are involved in the bad things that happen to us in the tech space. Social engineering is something that you got to keep in the back of your mind. So as we go on, it's going to... Crim, 2021, you are not worth it. Vote for me. Yeah, exactly. But I mean that lovingly, in all honesty, because we love the path of least resistance. We love hardly working. So when I say, hey, this sounds terrible. You're right. I sound like a dick. Sorry about it. That's what CyberBuzz is. Come to CyberBuzz, get dunked on. Boom. But in all honesty, as much as I say, hey, as humans, our natural tendency is we don't want to admit that we've done something stupid. It's much easier to say, I got hacked, not I got social engineered. And that inherently shifts the blame on someone else. Well, the same is true of a hacker. A hacker can attack Crim and get, 2 ETH and a couple of confidential knitted tea cozy patterns. Or a hacker can say, that That's small peanuts. And if I'm going to put time into this, I'm going after TD Bank. Because if you win, the one hack gets you everything that you need. Who cares? So, in any case, this is very a very important thing that kind of I wanted to come up because I think it's really, really important. If we don't start thinking of our own involvement in these situations, we will never be smart enough to evade them. So yeah, there you go. And Gabriel works in insurance, so this is interesting. Hi, Ismail. This is something that you're kind of seeing more often than not, right? Is you're starting to see more cybercrime. All right. So we've talked a little bit about this. And, you know, there are some great examples out there. So just before we move on to another topic, before I play a track to kind of be a palate cleanser here, just keep in mind that we hear about it in crypto because it's sensational. Big amounts of money, scary new technology, you know, the interesting people. The media loves to kind of dunk on crypto because it's the new boogeyman, but it also represents a threat to power. Well, just remember when you hear hacked crypto and whatnot, there's an agenda behind that media. Social engineering has existed forever, from the beginning of, you know, time, from like Maverick out on the fucking wheeler boat cheating at cards, all the way up to you can be social engineered for almost anything. And obviously email really opened the door for that. Fake emails from Nigerian princes or whatever trying to get your passwords. It's no different in the crypto space. Someone's trying to get your keys because they can't hack it. They just need you to give it to them. So think critically. Be very, very careful about what you download. And these days, if it is that you're involved in, you know, the crypto space, or if you bank or do financial transactions, if you keep sensitive information, consider doing it all on one computer with one email address that you don't touch on your day-to-day, you know, business. Honestly, there's a reason that we have crypto, you know, cold cards or cold wallets. There's a reason that these things exist. And it's probably one of the most powerful things you can do to protect yourself is to just have a segregated space, computer, whatever, that's for fun. And you don't have any sort of crossover between your fun stuff and the rest of it. And that way, if you're not super careful for whatever reason, you're going to be a little more protected. But anyways, that's a whole nother... Yes, the biggest hole in security is the user. And the same thing in like tech support. The problem, what's a PEBCAC error? The problem exists between the chair and the keyboard. Hate to say it, but yeah, fondly remembering the 80s. It's true. But you know what? In the 80s, social engineering was happening then too. Just in a different format, in different technologies. And what I will say, I'll kind of finish this up. One of the best things that I've ever heard was an example, and I'll try and find it during the break or while the music's playing or whatever. One of the best examples of social engineering that I ever heard was, and I suspect that this is probably along the lines of Viking Adventures work, is that, yeah, you're right, no tech like today. But the more technology evolves, the more there are new opportunities that we've never considered, more avenues to be socially engineered. So, you know, it is what it is. But the best thing I heard, and this was actually quite early and involved a telephone. And it was basically a woman showing how easy it is to socially engineer someone on your behalf. So not even the direct client. And what it was is the woman called in, I believe it was a telecom company. And what she wanted to do was get a new phone set up. She wanted to use the credit card on file and buy a bunch of shit and then run off into the night. And so she called up the telecom company and she said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so's wife. I'm so sorry. He didn't leave me the password. He was supposed to. I'm supposed to get this done today. It's crazy. I have an appointment in a little bit. Can you just help me?" And there's this, she talks to this agent of the telecom company with so much urgency. She's panicking a little bit and, "Oh, I'm helpless. My husband, you know, he didn't give me this, he didn't give me that." And she literally is showing, you know, she gets in about 15 minutes, not even. She pulls up a soundboard with a crying baby and she's playing that in the back room, and the telecom agent is freaking out in the background because she's like, oh, the baby's crying. I can't touch the keyboard. I don't have the password. I don't know what the pin. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm so flustered. And she overwhelms this telecom agent with the hardships of being human. And sure enough, the telecom agent capitulates and lets her in, sets her up on this guy's account, and she's like, oh, just send the password reset email to my email. Here it is. Da 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 da. And she's in, and it takes not even 15 minutes. Absolutely no special skills. She doesn't hack a damn thing. Zero technical knowledge whatsoever. All done over the phone. And she gets herself into this guy's account, and orders herself a fancy new phone, and so forth, so on. So, I mean, is it a perfect example? Yeah, exactly. Very easy to do. It's quite fascinating how much social engineering exists around us, and we don't pay attention to it because it's not as scary as hacking. So, all right. Listen, we've been all over the place in the first 40 minutes of the show today. Crim has no hair, crying about Bitcoin, crying about cancer, warning you guys not to get leet hacksored on the internet. This is CyberBuzz Radio. My name is Crimsonclad, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music for you, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We can talk a little bit about Hive. There are some more changes coming up around the hard fork. We could talk about a little bit of anything you want to talk about, or I thought we could also talk a little bit about geothermal stuff. Yes, Crim has no hair. It's okay, Nine. I still do have hair. I cut more than a foot off my head, and I'm fine, and it's fine, and we're fine. So, if you want to watch the video, you can go to Vim TV. And don't get lead hacked on the internet. That's exactly right, PZ. And I see Team Crim. Hey, social engineering by definition is hacking. Sure it is. But I think, and A, hi, haven't seen you in a while. Good man. B, I think it's really important to still separate them out. Because again, when we talk about hacking and when hacking is used against us, thank you, Clay. I'm getting spanks and everything. Everybody's getting spanked. When we talk about hacking, it is a thing that some bad person does to us, and we have no choice, we have no protection, we have no involvement. It is an act that is taken out upon us. When we talk about social engineering, we remember that we are part of whatever comes of it. We have been manipulated to do something that someone else wants. So you're not wrong. If you want to get pedantic and you just want to talk about hacking, it's hacking someone's brain, it's hacking someone psychologically. But the way that we respond to the two phrases, hacking or social engineering, the way that we respond to those things is different. And that's the part that's important. When we talk about let's empower ourselves, let's make sure we are smarter, better, faster, stronger, whatever. Thinking about social engineering is what it is remembering that you are actually really in control and you are much safer than you think you are if you are remembering that you just have to protect yourself. It sounds so silly and it's so easy, and we want to trust other people. We do. We want to believe that someone loves my tea cozies and wants to commission one. But we're in a day and an age where anyone, anywhere in the world can anonymously contact us. And whether they want my crypto or my bank information, or they want to put some sort of piece of software on my PC, it's all the same in the end. I have to help them do it. And you know what? I don't want to help them do it. So not today, Satan. Not today. Humans are computers' weakest links. Yes, absolutely. Things that are too good to be true usually are. And yeah, Clay, you know what? That is something too. Clay's pointing out that, you could potentially, one of these things could become the new boating accident. Oh my goodness, there was a level up on a lick and all I have is coffee. I still have my empty beer bottle, my empty Guinness from the other night, so I'll have to grab some alcohol so we can have some shots. All right, so with that, let's play a little bit of music and then we'll come back, and I was thinking we could talk a little bit about geothermal stuff. We could have a little bit of fun, and we could have kind of the open mic that we always do, which we usually end up talking about Hive and some other things. So, Crim, what are we playing? Are you asking me about video games or music? because video games, I have been trying to play more. I'm catching up on my backlog, and a lot of them are classic games or games that I always keep coming back to. So we can touch on that too. Lots of cool stuff going on. What I'm going to play for you is an artist from here in Vancouver, and I'm echoing on MSP waves. Am I? I don't know why. I hope I'm not. No. All right, well, you guys let me know. Maybe you have another tab open or something's messed up. You guys check it out. If you need to listen somewhere that doesn't suck, go to vim.tv/Crimsonclad. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is, of course, just Crimsonclad. You can go watch me on Twitch at She's Crimsonclad. You have many options. I don't care where you listen or watch. Go where makes you happy. This is why I can't build up big numbers and become famous, but I don't care. Listen, this is all about you. All about you, baby. Okay. So I'm going to play you something by an artist called FM Attack, and he is actually here in Vancouver, and he has had an incredible career, and is considered sort of like one of the sort of pioneers of synthwave in sort of the less popular circles. I do owe you a drink, and I will get a drink, I promise. And so I've really, really enjoyed his music over the years, and he's actually planning on kind of moving away from this particular project, and even the name FM Attack. So this has come to a close, and so the last album that he's put out just in the last couple of weeks, it's called The Never Ending. It's a beautiful album, and I have a lot of love for it because the cover image from it is actually a shot of downtown Vancouver with the sun going down. And it's really beautiful. Wow, bad echo, or is it just you? It might just be you. My streams are like everything that's going on from my end is fine, but Ron did mention that his internet is bad today. And so some of the connections from MSP Wave, Kratos is just looking to leave. How long is it? He's just like, shut off the music. All right, so listen, you guys sort it out amongst yourselves, but there is a chance that MSP Waves or that Discord isn't sounding awesome. So if you need more places to listen, let us know. I'll drop links in the chat. Now, let's do this. So here it is. It's a track off The Never Ending. It is one of the goodbye songs to FM Attack's synthwave, and it's really good, and it's super 80s. So especially considering oh, Creo. Oh, wah. I totally missed that joke. It went right over my head. He goes, how long is it? It's never ending. Oh, get out. So since Nine said that she's super missing the 80s, this track has big 80s energy. Big 80s energy. It's called Starlight. I'm called Crimsonclad. Who am I? How did I get here? Who put this pudding in my pants? And this is CyberBuzz. It's a dumb show that I do on the weekends. We talk about crypto. We talk about disruptive technology. We learn a little. We laugh a lot. And everybody regrets every moment they spend with me. Nothing new there. All right, there you go. FM Attack. It's a track called Starlight. And so for those of you who are trying to figure out what that track was called, sorry, Discord sucks. Now, let's just have the caveat. My name is Crimsonclad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. I am here on Saturdays. We talk about tech, disruptive tech, these sort of retro future aesthetic and the Hive blockchain. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's gonna go do some drugs here and rave it out in the chat. Yeah, so supers. Oh, thank you, kitty girl. That makes me think of like the Wild West. But Enjar's bar, your bar is looking real good. You've been updating on Chain and on Twitter about it. Starting to really step up your game. Good man. Make me a Negroni, please. But so, hey, today we have been talking about a number of different things. We started off just having a little, like, sob fest. Isn't that, like, the anime girl thing now that... But yeah, we talked about, I talked about sort of some of the stuff that's been going on in life. We talked a little bit about the awesome and amazing potential of crypto and Bitcoin and why the world honestly would like to slow that down. And yeah, so many cringe things happened at the Bitcoin conference in Miami. But if you've ever been to any conference about any particular thing, there is some culty cringe behavior for sure. Yeah, those Delta 8 gummies look good. I have to admit, it's basically it's all the really good shit. It's not just CBD. It's all the good shit that gets you high in a gummy. Delightful. But yeah, crim things, the worst things really. But so we've been talking a little bit about some of the cringe things, the crim things. They're one and the same, really. Cringy crim. But we were talking a little bit, about how any conference gets a little out of hand. I don't know if any of you guys have been to a conference, but things get a bit wild. And so, yeah, Bitcoin Miami, there were the Bitcoin baptisms. There was Max Kaiser, dancing around like a nut job. I don't even know. What was he yelling? He was yelling at Elon while running around on the stage. Look, whatever, But there were incredible things that came out of it too. And of course, Making Stuff is on just before me. So if you were watching the stream somewhere else now, you can go to mspwaves.com, find the whole schedule. Making Stuff does a show kind of connecting both getting back to nature, becoming self-sufficient, moving off grid, and disruptive technology. Yeah, he is awful, Julia, I agree. Not Making Stuff, Max Kaiser. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. God, that sounds terrible. Max Kaiser, awful. Making Stuff, awesome. Never the twain shall meet. But so Making Stuff, very specifically, just before my show started, was playing one of the most incredible interviews from the Bitcoin conference, which was Jack Mallers talking about how and why he got involved with El Salvador, how El Salvador has come around on declaring Bitcoin as a legal tender and a recognized currency, and some of the importance that comes with that. And so, yeah, at the beginning of the show, it's hard to listen to someone that passionate and to somebody who really believes so strongly in personal freedoms, but also using those personal freedoms to enrich the lives of others. It's hard to not be moved by that aspect of crypto and Bitcoin. And so it's really, really easy. FUD is out there. And you know what? Some of the FUD's even right. There are some things in this space that's not good. There are some things in this space like anywhere else. Yeah, exactly. Listen to the IMF. No problem. Can do. There's some things in this space that aren't comfortable, that aren't great, and it's no different than any other space where money flows and power is brokered. But it is hard to not feel like it's important when you understand things like that. Here is a country where no one is able to have even a bank account, where there's nothing they can personally do to try and build or protect their own wealth. There's nothing they can do to, try to live a better life. And Bitcoin does change that. We say a lot about ETH or about Bitcoin, the fees are high and it's slow or whatever. But at the same time, crypto does still represent this incredible possibility of banking the unbanked. And that's where it started. And ultimately, even though so many people are looking at it as a store of value, as protection from, runaway inflation, as the ability to be ungovernable, whatever the case may be, whatever reason you're in crypto, because holy shit, internet money, magic beads from the sky, we're shooting that shit out of volcanoes now. Whatever it is, wherever you're in this space, there's still this little dream that everything started with, and it was as simple as, well, if you don't have power and you don't have control, but you want some of those things for yourself, not even over others, but just for yourself, because you can't have control over others, just like you don't want somebody controlling you. That's what Bitcoin is, man. And we're starting to see it, and it's hard not to be inspired by that. So for some of us, yeah, little tear. All right. So yeah, and then at the end of all of that, then I did just kind of update you guys on the fact that I have no hair and that we're working on the cancer thing in our family. And so I'm in a really good mood today, and I'm feeling very positive. So for the back half of the show, I thought we could talk a little bit about some of the fun and also completely absurd shit that is happening. So, it's easy to make really big, sweeping, absurd, yes, exactly, Creo, sweeping, absurd statements about crypto. It's very easy to do that. Well, one of the biggest new exciting ones is, P.S., we're fucking mining Bitcoin with volcanoes now. That's a pretty charged sentence. It's a pretty charged sentence. But, other than the fact, it is hilarious to walk into yeah, exactly. Everybody in here is a Pog maximalist, of course. We're all going to walk into a room and be like, hey, man, my magic internet beans came out of a volcano. Fuck you. That's fun. That's a fun new thing that is that is happening. But there is some really cool stuff in the geothermal sphere that I thought we could talk a little bit about. So one of the biggest things in crypto, and regardless of what blockchain or what sort of aspect of crypto or decentralized technology we're in, the big thing right now is, as per usual, environmental friendliness. And one of the things that obviously we're constantly struggling with, yeah, buy more solar panels, comrade. Yeah, the environment matters. And it's one of those things we've touched on in the past weeks. We were talking about how it's really interesting and really easy to see how messages are crafted that are effective. When there are people who don't care about, say, Bitcoin, how do you scare them about Bitcoin if they don't care? Well, the answer is you find something they do care about and you connect the dots. And that's the stage we're in, whether it's with crypto or decentralized tech, or even just, how we run our vehicles, how we power our infrastructure. Yeah, exactly. Everything we do in life requires energy. We know this. We're streaming. I'm streaming to you right now, 60 frames per second, 4K bullshit. Like, yeah, what's powering that? Stop and think about it. I'm part of the machine just like everybody else. And we've talked a little bit about this in terms of, yeah, part of making a future and part of future design when we imagine what we think is the perfect future is clean energy, lots of forest space, bright, open, renewable powered spaces, all this shit. That's what we think of. And so even if you're not interested in crypto, even if you're not interested in decentralized technology or disruptive technology, you probably want to watch your streaming Netflix, or, you like having power in your house at night, or you want to be able to charge your phones, whatever the case may be. You want to go out to a physical location that also has power. So how do you scare people who aren't interested in crypto, who just don't give a shit, who are ignoring it up to this point? How do you scare them enough to turn them against it? This is a really important story. Yeah, man, Dyson spheres. Let's just do it. Let's just harness the sun. Let's just grab the sun and pull it behind us as we rocket through the universe. It seems like a great plan. But this is a really valuable question, and this goes beyond just blockchain. This is something that we've seen happen over and over and over again in human history. When you need to create fear in a populace about something, but they're not They're not scared on their own. They're not feeling scared. God damn it, those bastards. I can't manipulate them because they're not scared. How do I make them scared? And in this case, this is the new tactic that we're seeing everywhere is, well, we know everybody has been primed to be worried about the environment, and we got to treat our planet good. That's not up for debate here. So wherever you fall on the spectrum of climate change in general and whatnot, one thing we can all agree on is if we are shitty polluters, if we pump things into the air that we breathe, if we cut down all our trees, it's not a very nice place to live, and our quality of life goes down. And ideally, taking care of ourselves goes hand in hand with taking care of our environment. Cool, we're agreed. So here's the thing. If somebody says the environment is in grave danger because of Bitcoin, your kid is going to grow up breathing toxic smog, and all of the animals will be dead, and they're going to have to, whatever. If that's the tactic that you take, and then you say it's Bitcoin's fault, all of a sudden, people who didn't really care about Bitcoin, people who didn't care about crypto are starting to go, but I heard crypto's bad. It's going to kill us. We're all going to die. It's killing the planet. I heard that a Bitcoin has 72 jumbo jets. That's bad. Not a lot of critical thinking, but it is a very effective tactic, and we're seeing it happening now. So here we are trying to kind of spin things back towards the positive. Geothermal energy is Bitcoin is literally murder. The Hive blockchain is actually a ring of trucks driving around the planet nonstop. Whatever, man. But here we are, and we're seeing it happen. And, if this isn't something that you've paid attention to, do a little trip through your news feed, wherever it is that you consume social media, or, go out and read a newspaper if those still exist where you live, or, look at the advertisements for, you heard that COVID started on a Bitcoin. Bitcoin! Exactly. Go out and just do this little mental exercise. Go around and see what is basically being pushed under this narrative. The big scary thing right now is the planet's going to die and we're all going to die with it. There's some truth to it, but we take that truth and we extrapolate it and we turn it into a message that puts fear into people. So go out today and see how many times, as you're moving around the internet, as you're moving around where people gather and share information, how many times do you see that whole statement of, it uses a lot of energy, it's really, really bad, we're all going to die? You'll start realizing it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. But the flip side is, actually, one of the cool things about crypto and some of these disruptive technologies is people go, well, I hate it because people want to make money. Yeah, but what they forget is that is often one of the biggest driving motivators for finding ways to do things better. If you are doing something that is... What's the stream with the least lag? Yeah, YouTube is one of the worst for lag, for sure. Team Crim. Sorry. Yeah. YouTube does have a lot of lag, I will agree. But so here's the deal. Let's talk about geothermal. So one of the biggest things that you may have seen in your travels is that fuckers, we're going to pull Bitcoins out of volcanoes. Now that sounds very cool. That is very cool. But what it is referring to is that El Salvador has a ton of geothermal activity. Now geothermal power is pretty fucking cool. It's basically heat. Essentially, it's heat from the Earth's core. It's heat that is under pressure that either creates water vapor or whatever the case may be. But pressure that drives, either explosive movement or can turn, say, something like a turbine using water vapor under high pressure. Geothermal energy is really cool. And the planet does it itself. There are no emissions, there's no nothing. This is a thing that the planet is doing whether we are here or not. And so harnessing this energy becomes really exciting. Now, in El Salvador's case, they're like, all right, well, if we're going whole hog on Bitcoin, we should probably also look at making this a mining-friendly place. And so what they've done is they're like, hey, we're going to dig a new well. We're going to have a bunch of water vapor from this geothermal activity. We're going to create a giant warehouse of Bitcoin miners that are completely zero emission, fully green powered, and we're going to let people come from other parts of the world and come rent space in here to mine Bitcoin if they want. And they can do that knowing that they'll be priced really well, that Bitcoin goes here as, legal currency, that they are basically contributing a net negative to emissions. And overall, we're opening this up to whoever wants to use it. It's really, really intelligent, and it's kind of exciting. So I think this is going to open up a lot more talk around geothermal energy and some of the possibilities. Big Tom is saying that SoCal is a geothermal hotspot. Now, I'm curious to know, because California seems to have a lot of craziness around energy. So I know there's a couple of you in chat who have experienced inertia, who have experienced some of the issues that California's had in terms of power, and especially in terms of the existing electrical grid. So I'm curious to know, Bitcoin aside, disruptive tech aside, what's happening in your area with geothermal energy? Is geothermal on anybody's map? Is it something that has been avoided? Has it just never come up? I'm curious to know, because there's a lot of you in here, and I'd love to get your feedback, because I'll be the first to admit, I don't know fucking shit about California. Nothing. It's evil, extremely evil. That's interesting. I would love to hear why some of the geothermal energy is considered not good. What the fuck is geothermal? I literally just explained this, patient zero. For example, one of the places, how do you harness it? I also just went over that as well. One of the places that I visited that I saw this in action the most is I spent some time in Iceland, which of course, Iceland is probably coming up in your newsfeed a whole lot right now. You've probably noticed, yes, Making Stuff is reading my mind. He knows exactly where I'm going with this. Iceland is incredibly beautiful, and you may have noticed they've got this little tiny volcano that's doing its thing right now. Just a little bit. This volcano is changing the face of Iceland. But while I was there, most of the houses, most of the buildings, especially around the ring road and outside of Reykjavik or Akureyri, sort of all of the places where people gather or, build around the ring, powered by geothermal. And so a lot of the places that I stopped in, their heat, geothermal. Everybody's got a hot tub because you know what? It's not that expensive to run because it's powered by geothermal. And so all of this sort of heat that's generated in the planet is being conducted into heating water, running, electricity for farmsteads, things like that. Geothermal is really an important part of Iceland day-to-day life. And so all of a sudden, there's this thought that, well, why not start powering mining rings? Or why not some of these really problematic or demonized tech innovations, why don't we start powering them with geothermal? Why not? The planet is going to keep doing the planet's thing. And so to me, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of these sort of smaller places that don't necessarily have quite as entrenched dependence on the US dollar or US markets or US finances. They're going to start exploring this because it's a very natural, renewable resource that we don't always think about a lot. And I would be very, very shocked if we don't see places like Iceland or some smaller islands or places through South America or whatever across Europe. I would be shocked if we don't see more and more of this. But, we'll kind of move off this topic because we actually are already into the second hour of the show. But one of the things that I will say is remember that for people who are especially getting into Bitcoin or, shitcoin mining or whatever, who want to make money, capturing this energy that we're not paying a lot of attention to, capturing energy that is very inexpensive, capturing what we consider waste energy is their number one priority. They want to maximize their profits. They don't want to deal with shit that harms the planet. They don't want to deal with, setting up some crazy infrastructure. They want to plonk down over a steam vent, get a fucking generator going, and mine some Bitcoin. And that's a really powerful motivator that in a lot of ways is actually going to help us develop better and better, more and more efficient tech that's going to use a lot of these things that we ignored for one reason or another. So, all right, let's take a quick peek at what's going on in chat. Problem with any energy source is transmitting it. Yeah, you know what, Emersha, this is a great point. He's saying, well, Bitcoin doesn't need to move that energy place to place, because if you're going to take your mining rig or whatever, and you're going to find that vent and you're going to go and just generate energy on the spot to mine Bitcoin, you need very little space, you need very little infrastructure, you need almost nothing for that. You don't have to build a huge dam, you don't have to build a fuck-off giant wind turbine, but even if you do, that's not a problem. You can just put your rig at the bottom of it instead of running lines or cabling or whatever to move energy from one place to another. In the case of something like a mining rig or something sort of technological that can be done at that spot, that alleviates a lot of the issues. All right, so today has been random as shit. We've talked about a little bit of everything. It's been a Bitcoin heavy show, which I think is fine, frankly. But we could potentially come back and we could talk a little bit about Hive stuff if you want, or we could just hang out, whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever topics you're most interested in. Volcanoes, spinning money, and banking the unbanked, and celebrating good health. It's all good, man. It's all good. So I'm going to play a track that I really like. It's from an artist called Free Weights, and it is from an album. Oh my God, it's from an album in like 2014 maybe? Super old school. And they're actually Finnish, because you guys know I fucking love Finnish music. And normally when I share Finnish bands with you, they're metal bands. But nope, I have some Finnish synthwave for you, because of course I do. I'm going to play you a track called Lightweight. And it remains one of my favorite tracks, one of my favorite sort of proto-synthwave tracks. So I'm going to play it for you guys. My name is Crimsonclad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. If you're enjoying the show, please, I don't know, do the thing. Come hang out again. If you want to roll, you want to get a ping in Discord, whatever, let me know. Come back every week, because I'm here, and we talk about something different every week. There's always something to learn. Oh, Creo! Creo is king of the bad puns today. How long is the track? I.e., when does it finish? It's terrible. It's bad, and you should feel bad. Oh, Lord. Okay, so let's just have a moment of silence for how devastatingly bad that pun was. I'm going to put on Lightweights for you. We're going to dance a little bit. We'll come back and we'll try and play a little bit more music before the end of the show today. My name is Crimsonclad. Wah, wah. My name is Crimsonclad, and this track is called Lightweight. It's super 80s.
Standing on the feet, I'm Why is it always on? Just a light weight in your eyes. Against the odds, through the grain, you would never know me anyway. I'm just a light weight in your eyes. I'm just a light weight. Against the odds, through the grain, you would never know me anyway. I'm just a light weight in your eyes. I'm just a light weight. I'm just a light weight in your eyes. Still alive. I'm just a light weight in your eyes. Still alive. Still alive. Still alive. Still
It's very synthy. There you go. All right, finish synthwave, because yeah, I have some of that too. Hey, it's CyberBuzz Radio here. My name is Crimsonclad, and on Saturdays I talk to you about disruptive tech, blockchain, synthwave, the retro future. It's very 80s. It's very space. It's very, I don't know, cyberpunk, Blade Runner, confusing, whatever, who knows, what is it? And in the most cyberbuzz thing ever, if you're watching the video stream, here's the problem with having this new short hair, which sucks and I hate it, is not only when you brush it for the first couple times, you are stupid and your hand's just like, ah! But it doesn't just stay together. Like normally when with my long hair, I'll braid it, I'll tie a knot in the end and it can just stay. Well, does it do that now? So in the most cyberbuzz moment ever, I have used a Velcro cable tie to secure my braid. Fabulous cable tie here, lttstore.com. Yes! Necessity is the mother of invention, and that's what we've been talking about today here on the show with geothermal energy and Bitcoin and what, how, whatever. Fuck. What a disaster! What a disaster! I loved Empire Records. All right, so. There's a good one. There is some really ridiculous gifs in chat, but I have to admit the genie cultural appropriation one is pretty bad. So go team, well done. Life hacks from Crim. Oh, I forgot. I did it again. These headphones only work. The touch button on these headphones only works when I don't want it to. So there you go. I did the little like dance and I turned on the music because I can't. Yeah. Linus Tech. Yeah, it's a joke because Linus Tech Tips is from here in Vancouver, and he actually literally, you've used zip ties on your ponytail. Good man, Big Tom. That's a mechanic on the road. You know, getting shit done for sure. I've also used zip ties on my ponytail. But yeah, the joke is that Linus from Linus Tech Tips, he's from here, Vancouver, and he films all his stuff here. He hires people out of here. He shills Canadian companies. It's quite delightful, actually. And he actually used to work at the old PC computer place just down from where I used to grow. Where I used to grow up? Growing? Where I used to grow. apparently I've run out of brain today. So that's how you know we're at the back half of the show. But when I was growing up, he used to work at the computer place down there. And so his whole thing is in all his videos, he finds ways to lttstore.com. So it was just a shout out, okay? Brain, stuff, things. What does Crim grow? I don't know. Plants. So many plants. Just plants and plants and plants. Look at this guy. This guy's pretty cool. Check it. Melons. Good God. All right. So Crim grows melons. And today, it's a disaster. It started off so strong. We were doing so good. And we lost the plot, as we often do. So, one of the things that I thought we could talk about, if you wanted, my darlings, is we could talk a little bit about, a little bit more about geothermal if you want. I was actually looking in that break to find one of the places in Iceland that I drove through to kind of underline how abundant and useful geothermal tech is. In one of these posts, here, this one. This one actually talks a little bit about some of the geothermal stuff, but one of the cool things is it's so common and that it's everywhere. That's a good cycle there. Crimbot answered twice. But so in this one, the cover photo is actually this creepy shower, and it's because all sorts of places around Iceland have so much geothermal activity just under the surface, and so many sort of pockets of geothermal water that, yeah, outdoor showers, outdoor sinks, outdoor hot tubs, they're totally common. They just plonk them in wherever they think tourists are going to show up, and they just go all year long because there's literally zero waste from them. There's nothing to power them. There's nothing needed. So they basically just kind of stick a straw down into the earth, and they're like, here's a nice hot shower. It's kind of great. So in this case, why not? Just plonk down a Bitcoin mining rig. Good. Oh, Guillaume, we've been so lost without your interesting facts in chat, I must say. So yeah, there's that. And then I thought the other thing we could talk a little bit about is there's all sorts of stuff going on around the Hive blockchain. If you wanted to talk about some of that, this week my goal is going to be following up with all of the developers around the chain who have not been bothered by me yet. So one of my fun jobs that I take on voluntarily is I check in with people and I make sure that they are ready for the hard fork, that they've been participating in testing. And there's two other things that I'm going to be bothering people about, and that is partially because the modular hive mind is dead. Long live hive mind application framework. But long story short is I'm double checking because that's going to be ready to start being tested by developers, which is everybody's gone completely sideways. And then also Hive Signer is getting a huge overhaul. So my goal this week is to try and make sure that everybody in the ecosystem has been reminded to check in on all of the stuff that makes them go. The pack-led creed, the things that make them go if it works good and that they are able to do. Bye, have fun. That they're able to do what they need to do, and that everything gets absolutely moving forward after the hard fork and ready to become better and faster and stronger. So is there anything that you guys have on your mind, given we've got less than 40 minutes, half an hour left in the show today? Is there anything that's been on your mind that you want to talk about? Do you have any questions or comments, stuff that's coming up? Either around the Hive ecosystem or out and about in the wider ecosystem. We started off today talking about the difference between social engineering and hacking. Jesus Christ, Guillaume's a disaster. But if you have any questions or comments, topics that you want to talk about, we started off talking about the difference between social engineering and hacking and how to kind of think about them differently so that you can empower yourself to be safer as you move around the internet, and especially in the crypto space. How to get Canadians to stop being submissive. That is above my pay grade, and that is if you want to do that with disruptive tech, I don't know, you're gonna have to get some implants or something going. I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest. But otherwise, in the coming weeks, let's just check on the date. I am actually going to be sneaking away before the hard fork happens. So some of you guys know, some of you guys don't. Not that it really matters. But the reality is, Guillaume, if virgins are needed to power the volcano, then geothermal got a lot less viable real quick, is all I'm saying. But yeah, so we will, we can continue. But I mean, I don't know. I have opinions. I don't think I would actually want to move to the States from Canada. I don't think Canada's awesome. I think we have a lot of problems. I think the US has a lot of problems. And the more countries that I look at, I think they have a lot of problems too. And eventually you have to realize that we have a lot of problems worldwide. And they are systemic. And the only thing we can do is try to improve where we are. Because if we keep running from them, we will just keep running into these same problems. What can I say? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's still good here. There is nowhere to run to. So, make your stand. Do what you can. Live your best life. Take care of the people you love. Take care of the planet. Do the best thing for you. That's it, man. That's it. That's all. Everybody else, all you need are guns. Well, that is something that I certainly do have. So, all good in the hood. I'm a big firearms enthusiast. What can I say? Okay, so one of the things that I will be doing is running away. Speaking of, don't run away from your problems, and et cetera, et cetera. There is nowhere to run away. On that note, I will be week after next. I will be running away, and I'm going to do one of the things that I recognize that I need whenever I hit these walls, or I hit these emotional moments, or I get tired. Maybe you guys do this, maybe you don't, maybe you have some other different way of doing it. I am constantly in need of brain breaks, because my little peanut here gets overloaded real quick. And one of the things I've discovered is I can very accurately tell when I'm close to being non-functional. And that's now. I'm tired, and there's lots of good things going on. There's lots of bad things going on. It's time for me to run off. And so, as such, I will be hopping off to the mountains. Everybody's getting spanked. I'm running off to the mountains. I'll be doing some alpine hiking in Blackcomb up at Whistler. And I will see you guys after that. So no worries. I'm not missing any shows. I've made sure that it falls exactly between shows. Yeah, Trinkowski, it's funny because I actually I got on a call with someone at the Blue Sky team. So Blue Sky, they've been talking about it forever, and they're talking about wanting a very specific protocol. John, don't spam. They've been talking about wanting a very specific style of protocol, and what they want is to create a protocol that all platforms will adopt. And so for a lot of people, the idea is, it's Hive. It's basically Hive. And so they put out a report that they had been looking into a bunch of different options. And in fact, they actually did. If you look at one of their sort of study documents, they actually did look at Steam. And they still didn't find that it kind of met that it didn't meet their needs, in that it wasn't a protocol that could be adopted by other platforms. And so the idea is they would like to create something that is almost like sort of like TCP/IP or something that kind of almost like a rule set that everyone agrees to, an open source rule set on messaging that everyone agrees to. So the idea would be not just, you put a message on Hive and then any platform built on Hive could read those messages and display them. We already do that. That's fabulous. And it is decentralized. But what Blue Sky wants to do is that every existing platform can just follow those rules. And so, yes, you put the message on Hive and it goes to all the Hive platforms, but that Twitter can pick it up and, whatever. And then it doesn't matter, whatever platform you use, parts of this decentralized protection and decentralized benefits can be taken across platforms, across databases, across whatever. And so when this actually happened, it was like a day or two before the report came out. I actually ended up on a call with one of the Blue Sky members, or sort of a team adjacent researchers. We talked at length about this because in my mind, when I first heard about it, I thought the same thing. I thought, wow, like this is basically Hive. Everything you want to do is basically Hive. We have it. It's here. And the more that I kind of talked with them, the more I realized some of their ideas, Hive doesn't quite fit some of the things they want to do. And there certainly is, there's certainly going to be some really interesting aspects to the development of the Blue Sky project. And that is largely, how do you have someone like Jack or a big interest like Twitter creating its own decentralized competitor and doing that in a way that's equitable and creates a better product? I don't know. I'm interested to hear more about your guys' thoughts on this. But yes, so certainly people from around the Hive ecosystem have been very interested in this and wanted to really kind of get involved with this. And the more that we kind of try, the more we are rebuffed. So that may or may not let you know how the progress of it's going to work. Tough to say. Okay. So listen, we're coming up in the last little bit of the show, and I see people are moving around all over the place. Lots of people in Discord, but many people are moving over. I see lots of people on the YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, Vim, hi, the website over at mspwaves.com, hey, and hopefully 2 different Theta channels in the coming week or so. So lots of cool things, lots of places to hang out and spend time. And we'll have some fun today. So I do want to play at least one more track. And then I thought, for the last half of the show, if you guys want to talk about video games or something like that, then I am open to it, because there are some new games that I'm kind of excited about, but mostly I'm back in my old backlog. I'm playing a bunch of games that I really enjoy that I've probably talked to you guys about before, and I find myself coming back to them over and over again. So we could do that, but let's see. I am going to play a quick track. There's an artist that I have played for you on this show before. Pilot is a sort of cyber hunt. You know what, Marky? I'm not playing Hunt, actually. And a lot of it is, it's not even that I don't like playing with friends. I do. But shooters, I have like small attention span bursts for shooters. I used to love them. I used to love things like Halo or like Gears or whatever, but I don't know. They don't hold my attention anymore, and they're all just kind of like, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Hunt is pretty cool though. So let's just see. Let's come back to here. Let's talk about how to take out running those running this shit show for almost the last 2 years. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you mean this show, I've been doing it for 4 years, and no, I don't want to die, so I'm going to continue. I know you don't, but yeah, there is the pizza team. I know Beardflex has wanted to do a show on it. I think that he and Tori and the whole team there are kind of really powering through some of the deliverables right now, but I expect that there will be more and more going on. But yeah, the pizza token and the pizza ecosystem built around Hive, they are launching a bunch of gaming servers directed at people outside of the Hive blockchain and introducing them to people on the Hive blockchain. Hive-centric Minecraft, Hive-centric Rust. There's a bunch of servers that they are running now, and you can actually buy game keys and start participating in that. So that's a really cool thing. And I'm hoping that we'll probably have a show about it sooner rather than later, but that's on them. I don't know. We gotta figure out what they want to do, or you want to do, or whatever. I don't know. I expect that Beard eventually will be like, "Hey, we're doing the thing," and I'll be like, "Yeah," and that'll be it. All right. So I want to play you guys a track by Pilot, and it's a newer release of a. Let's see if I can find it. New release of a single called Brawl. I really like it. I really like Pilot. Everything he puts out is kind of in my wheelhouse. And of course, I always like a lot of sort of the synthwave and the cyberpunk aspect that's a little dystopian, that's a little kind of video gamey in itself, and has that sort of Blade Runner-esque vibe. So this is a good fit. And everybody in chat is just talking about pizza and beer. Tokens and tokens and tokens and tokens. Yeah, I think they spammed the alien honey bot so hard that it probably needs a reboot. So maybe Julia will be able to restart a new instance of the spank bot, because you guys are disastrous. That's nothing new there. So here you go. It's a track called Brawl. It's got a little bit of that kind of sneaking around in a dirty neon lit alleyway feel, but also some sick 1980s ripping guitar solos. It's a perfect fit for the show, and we'll come back and we'll see if we can talk about anything meaningful for the last little bit of the show. But if not, no big deal. What else is new? That's how things go here on CyberBuzz and all of my shows. My name is Crimsonclad, and I consistently apparently drive people to degeneracy. No fault of my own. a ton of dead air because that track just ends while I'm typing and lecturing people in chat. All right. There you go. Yeah, you know what? No big deal. Not to call anybody out, but at the same time, I get it. We've tried to be avoiding it, and everybody's really unhappy with the way the world is right now. There's a lot going on. It doesn't feel good. Money, power, bad people, bad things, COVID, lockdowns, pandemic, whatever. But you know what? I don't care. Sometimes when you're feeling really negative and you're like, well, fuck this, the world is bad and everything's bad and you know what, I'm going to do whatever. Or, you know what, that's okay. Sometimes we can just step back and be like, that GIF was, nah. So I get it. You're stuck in the place where you're worried about everybody dying all the time, kill everyone, whatever. But, oh, hey, yes, Vaquero. Yes, I normally only see you for Full Force Radio. And you're right. So many tours have been announced. I'm so excited. They all skip Vancouver. What else is new? Vancouver is over here on the West Coast. We are I'm not saying the redheaded stepchild, but we are. And you know what? It's because there's not a whole lot of people here in Canada, in Vancouver. We're a world-class city, but we're super small bands coming here. Why would they go here when they could just go to Seattle? Why bother with all the fuckery to come up to Vancouver? So you know what, Vaquero? I am really used to traveling for shows. I often drive down to Seattle or I fly over to the East Coast to Montreal because there are way more people over there and the shows, I sometimes watch the shows twice. So yeah, it stinks. And we're going to talk about that on Full Force Radio because we're getting back to the time where new live concerts are happening. However, I will say a good fit with today's show and with Full Force Radio, I bought tickets to see Gary Newman and I am excited. And oof, I was so excited there that the bingo wings were flapping. Oh God, look at them. Blah, blah. This is what happens when you have a really HD cam. But yeah, like, I just bought tickets to see Gary Newman in October. I'm so excited. He is a fabulous connection between the world of synthwave and synths and experimental electronic music and, of course, the world of metal and industrial and goth. He's fabulous, and I am so excited. So, we are getting back to, he's got a new album, and I actually did a whole Full Force Radio episode on Gary Newman, and I will probably do another one coming up. And actually, Full Force Radio this week, I'm not suggesting that I'm putting together a show that includes a bunch of new music, but is also roughly inspired by Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I might be, so, you know, just keeping an eye out for Full Force Radio. But yeah, so long story short, I was lecturing people in chat. Don't take it personally. Like, I get it. We are all feeling that way, and we all, you know, there's lots of things to be sad about or worried about or concerned about on the planet. But when you come to hang out with me, whether it's on CyberBuzz, whether it's on Full Force Radio, when you come to hang out with me and when we do these shows, we're not pretending that the world is okay or that everything is perfect. We're not pretending that you have to be happy or that you have to be one thing or another. But what I would like to see and what I will just very, very gently guide the chat towards is like, sometimes it's okay to get together and have a bit of fun and we can move away from some of that. So one of the gifts in chat was just, it wasn't awesome. So I'm going to knock it out of the chat. And you guys can go along with it or not, and you can be worried about it or not, or feel like it's an attack. It's not. But I sometimes do want to kind of move towards some of the more positive topics. It's not denying that there's nothing bad going on in the world, but sometimes stuff like that is just, nah. Let's not do that today. And so that's where we're at today. Let's not do that today. Let's go out on a positive note. Like I said, huge, great things going on in the world, you know? People in places that don't necessarily have opportunity are experiencing it through, things like cryptocurrency. And of course, people like me whose families have been turned upside down by things like cancer and, we've had deaths in the family. Yeah, let's pretend it's all wonderful in the world. 9, don't be snarky. It doesn't suit you. I love you very much, but that's absolutely not what we're doing. So don't be dumb. The reality is sometimes we don't have to pretend. We can just say, today I choose to focus on this aspect, not that one. That's all. That's all. But sometimes we can pretend too. And let me tell you, with a Full Force Radio all about Jean-Claude Van Damme, that is pretending to the max. But yeah, like I said, this last year has sucked for all of us, and losing people we love, you're dumb now. No. Okay, whatever. Yes, you're dumb. You're the dumbest. I'm the dumbest. And everything's dumb, and everybody should just quit. So, let's kind of try and turn this around and be fun. So for me anyways, the big thing is that last year I was angry. I was holding on to a lot of anger. I lost my grandma. I lost a lot of people died. Everybody was sick. We had this cancer diagnosis. Things were really bad. And today, things are really positive for me, at least. You know, in my small little sphere, I'm feeling positive, and I would like to carry some of that out to you. And oh my God, Inertia's going to start the rumor that Crim quit again. If you ever want to be the most frustrated you've ever been in your life, become a live streamer. Become a live streamer and open up all the things you say and do for everybody to see and try and handle them on the fly. Oh my goodness, it is the... If you hate yourself, start live streaming. All right. So let's oh God. All right. Fake it until you create a personality that is the thing you were trying to create. Good. Healthy chat today. Why don't we just move into some more music? Because we've only got 13 minutes left in the show. But you know what? I don't know if I've got more music. What about, we could do some more Euro trash stuff. This is why we need to talk. You need some coaching. You don't. Be you. Oh, God. All right. You know what? You don't know who Gary Newman is. Caro. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you for asking a question to just take us completely sideways from where we're at. Gary Newman is this crazy, like, songwriter, singer, record producer. He's English, and you have absolutely heard one of his songs. And in fact, for you, and it's Newman, N-U-M-A-N, 9, come on, you being you is dumb. I'm calling you out now. You are taking this way too personally, and that is dumb. So now you're double dumb, 9. But I like you a lot. Yes, exactly. Creo, you're hearing this. You will have heard this song for sure, Vaquero. If you've ever heard the Fear Factory cover of Cars, Here in My Car, I Feel Safest of All, that's the song that he is known best for. That's actually Gary Newman track. And it's not, it's not his best music, but it's a great track. And he's written for so many people. He's created so much awesome music. Music for Chameleons is one of my favorite tracks. There's so much great music. But one of the things that I find most fascinating about Gary Newman, and one of the things that I like, no, I can't tell. I can't tell when you're fucking around. You guys are so, some days it's so positive, and some days you are just this morass of sadness. And it's my job to entertain you, so god damn it, make it more obvious. Gary Newman is amazing. He does cool shit. And one of the reasons that I find him so fascinating is he is absolutely important both in the metal sphere and the industrial and synthwave sphere. And part of that is because he was very experimental, and he was constantly writing things that were dark and a little twisted. And he does all sorts of cool collaborations with artists and things like that. And in fact, one of my favorite things, it's in the other room and I can't go get it, but one of my favorite comic book artists is Joseph Michael Linsner. And he does this series, Goddess Dawn, and it's about the lover of death, the goddess of birth and rebirth, and she's a big cool thing, and she's a redhead and kind of spooky, and I like her. But one of the things that Joseph Michael Linsner did is when Gary Newman put out a new album, he and Gary Newman worked together, and he put out this visual graphic novel as a representation of one of these tracks, these singles from Gary Newman's album. And so I actually have it. I should go find it for you. It's really cool. But he's honestly just known to be a pioneer in this sort of crazy kind of progressive electronic space. He does really cool, weird, interesting stuff. And there are a ton of metal bands that have been inspired by him, and he's created a lot of avant-garde metal-leaning music, and he's created a lot of sort of weird, dark, spooky synth industrial music and electro pop and just all sorts of things. So he's just a really interesting, weird, experimental guy that, frankly, I mean, people like Trent Reznor or Marilyn Manson or like I'm trying to think of who else would. Armin van Helden, if you're in the electronic sphere. So many people were inspired by his sound and his style that I am so stoked for this concert. So yes, on Full Force Radio, we will talk more about concerts. And Bronwyn, aw. So now that I've chased everybody away, and we got totally off track and yada yada yada, let's try and fit one more synthwave track. Just one. Jean-Michel Jarre, yes, one of my other favorites. Very good, very good. I don't know who Ghost Man is. I don't know who that is, Creo, sorry. But yeah, Jean-Michel Jarre, very cool. So long story short, let's find some goddamn music. Let's pretend we didn't do any of this. So what I'll try and fit here is at least one more track. I'm going to fit in something called Voyagers from an artist called Starfarer. And I can't remember if I played this on one of the previous shows. I might have. And if I did, I'm not sorry. Because I like synthwave, and if this track is on my playlist, then it's probably a good track. It's called Voyagers. It's by a group, an artist called Starfarer. My name is Crimsonclad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. When I come back, we'll recap all the stuff we covered today, and I will try to leave you on a positive note. I'm not very good at it, but we'll give it our damnedest, right? We'll make our best shot. Ah! There you go. Voyagers. Voyagers. Starfarer, an awesome synthwave artist, and some guitar work by Your Sister is a Werewolf. Cool new stuff. And yeah, a little bit spooky, a little bit whatever. What a strange day today has been. You know, sometimes I'm gonna miss out. You know, I'm trying to always respond to you guys on the fly. I'm trying to create a good show, be entertaining. And in general, I'm probably going to fail at not only one, but all of these things. I am indeed giggling back here because I love... You discovered this band because of you. Yay! Good job, Mr. Fatface. That's cool. That's always what I can hope for on Full Force Radio or here on CyberBuzz. When it comes to the musical aspects, I'm always hoping that eventually I will stumble on one band that you will love and you will find them. But then the rest of the time, you're going to hate everything you do. And you just... You know, you have to get through the times that you hate me for me to make you happy. But yeah, Dark Moon Blade kicking around in the background, billions of planets and spaceships shaped like potato chips. Abso-fucking-lutely. So we're coming to the end of the show. We are done for the day. So I thought I'd recap all the stuff that we talked about just because it was a wild show. We did a little bit of everything. And apart from the stuff where we talked about me, because we always talk about me, it's all about me, blah, we actually did cover off some really cool topics. And so we started the show talking a little bit about, you know, what's happening with Bitcoin, some of the inspirational aspects of it to kind of counteract some of the Bitcoin FUD out there. I don't care how you feel about it, but that's an incredible story. And it stemmed from the show before me, Meadows and Makers, and Make It Stuff, sharing Jack Miller's speech about getting El Salvador to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender and sort of some of the really exciting aspects around that. So we started out there, we moved through a number of topics, but one that we spent a lot of time on was we were talking about the difference between hacking and social engineering. And in this case, it doesn't really matter if we're talking about crypto. It's very important for crypto, but at the same time, this applies to pretty much any aspect of personal information, passwords, in any way, shape, or form that could have a negative impact on your life. Be smart. Hacking is much less likely than you being tricked. And as long as you're thinking about it, you're a lot harder to trick. Otherwise, we spent some time talking a little bit about geothermal energy and a whole bunch of other things, but I've come to the end of the show today. So for more synthwave and disruptive tech, meet me back here next Saturday. For metal, I will see you guys on Thursday night. If you need to know more, you can go to mspwaves.com for the full schedule. But I'm done.